Hello. So I just want to make a quick video about starting small, right? So how do you get started? Um, Very quick. So you want to rent a space. You don't want to get your own office. So this is starting small, right? You're self-funding. You're limited on your finances or your resources. So you want to rent an office space or a room within a medical practice. See if anyone in your town or your city, you know, is not really using that space, and they can get some revenue from it, and you can pay a lot less than having to pay for the entire office. Okay, so once you have that office, you can start your credentialing process. Get that going as soon as possible. I'm already a little bit over a year now into it, and we are still in process with quite a few more insurance companies, and it's been over a year. So get that going as soon as possible. Get that office space. Then you want to start creating an inventory list. So for me, the easiest was McKenson. You can make an account with them. They'll ask you for your medical license, and you fill out the application, get that going, and then create the list of inventory that, or the items that you feel comfortable with throughout your time with your experience, your work. You've noticed that you've worked with different supplies or materials or different things, so make sure that you are comfortable with what you're ordering. Sometimes it's trial and error. You don't know exactly what you're getting if it's the same product that you used before, but you can kind of gauge it and make a note on it, make an Excel sheet, make a note, see if you have to make a change on your next order. Order small, don't order large quantities, because you're gonna have to order a lot of different things depending on how many services or procedures you're gonna be offering. So that's gonna add up. Okay, what else? So malpractice insurance, get that, protect yourself. If you're gonna be starting on your own, you're a PA or NP, you do need a medical director, which can also be your supervising physician. So there are some insurances that don't cover the medical director to actually see patients, but they cover them under like a medical director coverage. So those are cheaper than getting the ones that completely cover them. If they're not going to be seeing patients at the moment, then it defeats the purpose of paying more and not utilizing that. So wait till your MD or DO can see patients to then transition over to having them covered for seeing patients. Okay, so look into those different things. Now, some insurances will require you to have general liability insurance. So, you have to see which ones you're going to be credentialed with, and that would be added on to your malpractice insurance. It's an additional cost, not much, but it is an additional cost. Now, the other thing too is create a website. Well, have someone create a website for you. You're gonna have two options, or at least the two options that I ran into, which is you can have someone create from a template that's already like preset. You can't really move things around. It's kind of like, you just have to play with it. Or you can have your website custom made. In the beginning, I went with a template because it was a little cheaper, but looking back now, I would have spent the extra money to get it custom, because later on I had to scrap the whole layout website and start a brand new custom website. So it cost me a lot more than just paying a few dollars more, and you can keep that, you can update it, you can do whatever you like in the future. Okay. Now, whoever's building your website, it's very important that they are familiar with SEO, search engine optimization, so that way you come up organically on Google not Google ads, on Google searches. So you come up organically, so it's not one of the ads that come out in the beginning. So super important that they understand this and that they maintain your website and keep updating it. Then you're gonna look into Google ads. That's what's gonna come up when people search for you, and you come up in the top, hopefully, first page. You work your way up there, and you would people click on it and you pay for the clicks. So you set your budget for the day, etc. You can decide how much you're going to spend per month. And then the social media. So You also want to go through, create your social media pages. So, I've been hearing different things. It works, some work better than others for different people or different practices. So Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok. I mean, you can look into which one works best for you. And then since you are going through the credentialing process, you can't bill insurances. So what you want to do is create a list of cash services that you feel comfortable providing. So for example, if you feel comfortable doing Botox, you can do Botox. If you feel comfortable doing fillers, you can do fillers. If you don't feel comfortable doing these things, go take some courses if you haven't and start feeling comfortable, practice on friends, family, things like that. Just give it to them at cost, so it's a win-win. And get some experience there, start offering that service. DOT physicals, so any truck driver, bus drivers, that's a test you have to study for, take a course, study, and go take an actual test at a testing center. So you can do those, that's cash as well. IV therapy, those are good profit margins depending which compound pharmacy you're using. So just shop around, see what your profit margins would look like depending on who you're buying it from and what mixes are you doing. What do you want to do? IVs for hangovers? Do you want to do them for migraines? Do you want to do them for detox? You want to do an AD plus, immune boost, anything like that. There's a variety of different IVs you can get into, and whatever you feel comfortable. All of this is based on your comfort level and what your medical director and supervising physician feels comfortable you doing as well. Okay. Besides the IVs, you can do injections like B12, for example. What else? COVID testing. So the insurances are not really covering COVID testing, though they don't cover it for travel, at least in my area. So that's usually cash. So if you have some COVID tests laying around and just have a few for any travel, cruises, if you're on a coast where there's cruise lines, they require it. That's dying down a little bit, but it's still there. Now the other thing too is you do have an office space, so you can always see patients on the medical side. It just has to be cash. So either look for travel insurances, which it doesn't take very long to get on board with them, maybe just a few days. And you can charge them like your cash services or cash out-of-pocket patients. And then also there's some patients that they know you from before and they rather pay to see you versus going through their insurance, and you build that over time. Really, it's more about building that confidence with the patient over time. Let's see, and then procedures as well. As you're not just seeing patients, you can see them just through telemedicine, for example, or you can see them in the office and prescribe them antibiotics or whatever they need, steroids. But also look into things that you feel comfortable doing as well, like for example, suturing, draining the knee, incision and drainage. Get yourself an EKG machine, start doing EKGs. Set yourself up with a lab like LabCorp or Quest Diagnostic, and start charging for blood draw. So you draw the blood, you charge the patient for the lab, you send it out to the lab, and then the lab sends you a bill and you pay for that, but the patient paid you already. So set your prices there, talk to them. And also super important, if you're still working somewhere, you're working at a clinic, anywhere, make sure you don't have a non-compete or anything that's, that would backfire on you somehow later on. But don't quit your 9 to 5. Keep your 9 to 5. I kept mine for a while as well. And then set certain days and certain times where you're available at your business. So for me, for example, I would do telemedicine. I was going, what was it? I think we started at 14-hour days from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. So that's how I started off, because it wasn't that much volume, so I was just available. So pretty much the patient would call, and then we would set up a telemedicine between my breaks or anything like that, or I would go to work with my bags ready to go, because we are mobile as well. So I would have the bags, oxygen, I mean, anything. I had 3-4 different bags. So after I finished my 12-hour shift at an urgent care, I would then see patients, and I would have someone help me out, picking up the calls throughout the day, scheduling the patients, so then I would go and see patients after work. So that's one way of doing it, or you can just set certain days. Like if you have a fixed schedule at work that you're off every Wednesday, for example, then you want to stay open every Wednesday, so you're available for patients. Once you start seeing the volume picking up, then that's when you want to start saying, okay, maybe I should go part-time, and see if where you're at offers that part-time position for you. If they don't, look for another company where they do offer part-time, and then slowly you start moving in full-time into your practice. So do not quit your 9 to 5. It's going to take you twice as long as you think it is to build traction. It's going to take you twice the amount of money you think you're going to need. So for example, talking about money, the hardest money earned, I would say, is your first $100,000. And Cody Sanchez mentions this, so it's true. You're gonna work and you're gonna put that money away. You're gonna save as much as you can. The more you save, which the lower expenses you have, monthly expenses at home, the more you're gonna save, the quicker you're gonna get there. For example, with our clinic, I invested from my own money $100,000. So I think that there was a certain time where you could do that, because there was COVID. We call it the COVID wave. So I rode the COVID wave, and that allowed me to stay open and stay and become profitable later on. But right now, this COVID wave is like dying, right? So you don't have that momentum, you don't have that leverage. So I would say that you would need at this moment around 300,000. And that's being conservative, and that's not even paying yourself. You have that money there for operating costs. You're gonna notice as you keep seeing my videos, I'm very conservative. I'm always looking at, okay, what's the worst case scenario? How long can we stay open? How much money do we have for working capital? All these things. So I'm very, very, very conservative. So I would say 300,000, and don't pay yourself. So keep your 9 to 5. Alrighty, guys. I hope to make more videos. It takes me a while to make them, but as we get going, hopefully they start coming in a little sooner. All right, guys, take care.